It's your friendly math tutor, Miss C, here to solve systems of equations by graphing. Our first step is to get these equations into a form that's easy to graph. That form is slope-intercept form, and as a reminder, it looks like this. Y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. I'm going to start with our first equation, and I'm going to rewrite that so you can see all the steps I'm working. So I have negative 5x plus 10y equals negative 10. So our goal is to get y by itself. That means every action I'm taking is to get that y term on its own. So first step is to add 5x to both sides because we're trying to get that 10y by itself as a first step. We end up doing that because negative 5x plus 5x is 0. So we're left with 10y. Negative 10 plus 5x stay separate terms because they are unlike and cannot be combined. Our next step is to get y by itself. We have 10 times y, or 10 multiplied by y. We're going to do the inverse operation of division to rip those apart. When we do that, we divide by 10 by both sides. We end up with 10 divided by 10, which is 1. 1 times y is y, equals, this 10 is divided by both terms. So negative 10 divided by 10 is negative 1. 5 divided by 10 is half, and then we have the x being multiplied. Just as a side note, half x is equal to 1x over 2, which is equal to x over 2. These are all equivalent forms. So if you end up with one of those, just know that you can pull the fraction out, and it means the same thing. Okie dokie, let's go ahead now that we have this in slope-intercept form and graph this. We start by plotting our y-intercept, which is negative 1. And I should say this is number 6 if you are working off of the practice sheet that your teacher gave you. I will know that I graphed this right if my line goes through one of the coffee cups or one of the hearts or one of the footballs, depending on what worksheet you're working on. All right, my slope is 1 over 2. That means we go up 1 and then we run to the right 2 because my slope is positive. So I'm going to go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, and up 1 over 2. When we're graphing to find a point of intersection or to solve via graphing, they mean the same thing. We want to plot more than 2 points so that our line is super accurate and super straight. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these dots with a ruler. And here is my line. It went through my coffee cup, so I know that line is correct. Just as a side note, you can also take 2 negative movements to get a positive slope. So I could have went down 1 and to the left 2. And because 2 negatives make a positive, you're still on the line. So that's an option for you as well. All right, now we're going to do the exact same thing with our second equation. I'm going to rewrite it here. Negative 3x plus 2y equals 10. Getting that y term by itself by adding 3x to both sides. Remember, I'm doing the opposite of subtracting here since it's negative because my goal is to make a 0. That leaves me with 2y equals 10 plus 3x. Again, 10 and 3x are unlike terms, so they cannot be combined. To get y by itself, I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. When you divide, you can also write it like this. It's a little different than what we did on the first side in terms of writing, but it's exactly the same thing. Might help you remember to divide each term by 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then we have 3x over 2. That is the same thing as 3 halves x. And that is our equation in slope-intercept form. So we're going to do the exact same thing. We are going to graph now. So starting with the y-intercept at 5, so 0, 5. Now I'm going to run up 3 and to the right 2. And now I'm going to use that little trick because I don't have 3 more. My graph only goes to 10, so I can't really go up 3 and over 2 on this graph. So I'm going to do my little trick that I mentioned earlier. Because the slope is positive, that means I could take 2 negative movements to make a positive. So I'm going to go down 3 and to the left 2. This is the same thing as going up 3 and to the right 2 because 2 negatives make a positive. So when I do that, I get a point there. I get a point there. I've got enough points to put a ruler on and now graph this. And if I do this right, it should hit my coffee cup or my football or my heart, depending on what problem that you are or worksheet you're working off of. And It works. So that line is correct. So now I am going to find the point of intersection, and that is the point where the two lines meet. That's right here. So I'm going to look at that. That looks like it's -6. I'm going to write it up here. -6, and it's negative 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, -4. So our solution or our point of intersection, they're the same thing, -6, -4. Thanks for solving with me. Till next time, remember, you've got this.